Tony D and Little Joan somewhere in the background, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Nightbitch. That's the name of the movie, Nightbitch, starring Amy Adams as a woman who's overwhelmed with motherhood and starts to turn into a dog. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 15, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. There seems to be a recent trend in movies that I would call anti-motherhood. Now, this movie isn't like as blatant as some, but it seems to portray motherhood as this horrible burden that sucks, and every part about it sucks. See, that's where I think Hollywood crosses the line. It's not that everything is just perfect with motherhood. Sure, some of it sucks. It's a sacrifice, but it's the reward that doesn't seem to get portrayed in some of these movies. Instead, it focuses on this bizarre idea that there's something else. There's something else that needs to be acquired in order to have happiness. And in this case, it's this bizarre idea that I don't know if she actually transforms into a dog or that she thinks she does. Maybe she actually does. Maybe she's actually some sort of lycanthrope. It does show a dog that's supposed to represent her. And she does act like characters from a werewolf movie. And hangs out with a lot of dogs. From the director, Can You Ever Forgive Me? I guess it's supposed to be funny. It doesn't really come off as funny. Because to me, if you were going to do a movie about a woman who turns into a dog, it would sort of be like the female version of the Shaggy DA. That you would create wackiness around it, situations where she would slowly turn into a dog, and you could see the fuzz on her face, and we're not seeing that in this trailer, so I suspect maybe it's a metaphor, or maybe we never figure out if she really turns into a dog. She also, Amy Adams in previous movies has looked pretty hot. And in this movie, I think they're purposely keeping makeup off of her, making her look fatter than she is, shooting her and designing her clothes in such a way that she is unattractive. Until the Nightbitch moves in, and then she starts to become a little bit more attractive and starts to find herself again, I guess. I don't know. It's coming out in December. Do we have a rating? Oh, rated R for adult situations. I don't know who this movie's for, right? So Hollywood has spent, I don't know, decades sort of pushing various societal agendas. And one of the ones they've pushed, again, is very anti-mother, more feminist. You don't need no man kind of thing. So who's this movie for? You know, so many women today don't want to pursue motherhood or want to delay it or see it as a burden. So a lot of your audience for this movie is already on board with that concept. They are living lives of single womanhood, running around partying all the time. How are they going to relate to this movie? They don't actually have kids. The other women who did have kids might kind of relate to it, but I think at this point, the women who are choosing to have children a lot of times are cool with that. They've already been exposed to endless propaganda about not having children or being a feminist, and they've chosen, oh, I'm going to have kids anyway. So this kind of isn't for them either. It's definitely not for a man. I mean, you could have kind of made it for a broader audience if you had pursued the comedy angle harder. Instead, it just comes off as, I don't know, kind of an indie movie with a vague concept, hitting an audience that really isn't there. Hollywood's been doing this a lot. They're living in this. It's like everybody who makes a film these days, not everybody, but a lot of people who make a film, has this idea of how the world is, right? And it's an idea that was relevant in, say, the 70s, right? If you did a movie like this in the 70s, it probably would have resonated to some degree. It was a time when most women were mothers and feminism was sort of a new thing. So back then, yeah, you probably could have made this movie and it probably would have been, it's got a bad word in the title. You know, it would have been edgy then. Now it's just not even edgy. So, and the audience doesn't seem to be there. It's like they're making these movies for the same audience 50 years ago. It's like they can't mature past that point in history. Because in order to do that, I guess they would have to admit things have changed somewhat, and they can't keep the message that they constantly want to harp on going, because then the message is this big giant, let's say, liberal thing that if one piece of it is pulled out, like, that's not true anymore, like the whole thing crumbles. So they keep putting the entire ball in the air, hoping you're still, I don't know, interested. Like, the first thing I would have done with this movie, here's how I would fix this movie. The first thing I would have done is I would have let Amy Adams look good. And I'm sure she wants to look good in the movie. Instead, they made her look fat. And I think that's a conscious choice of the movie makers. I just don't think that's a coincidence that Amy Adams just happened to get fat and now they're making a movie. Nah. Now, you could have cast Amy Schumer in this movie because of that. And you probably would have been better off because at least Amy Schumer has some more comedy experience, I'll say. Amy Adams has a little. Next thing I would have done is, again, show the transformation if she actually turns into a dog. Even if she doesn't actually turn into a dog, you probably could have showed that transformation. You know, that would have been in her mind. And that would have been fun. I would have created situations by which Amy would be embarrassed because of her dog traits coming out at the wrong times. That doesn't seem to happen here. The dog traits come out, and the trailer seems to indicate, oh, good for her. Like, that's not the way normal people act. People don't, like, shove their face into a tray of food and gobble it down like a dog. And you're not supposed to portray that as a normal thing. You're supposed to portray that as, oh, my word. So the ideal situation for that scene would be, you know, Amy has to go to a fancy dinner, maybe for her husband's business, and then starts to turn into a dog and then can't help herself and starts rah, rah, rah. And her husband's like, what is wrong with you? Kind of thing. Instead, it's kind of being portrayed like, all right, finally. Like, it's weird. The whole pitch is weird. Yeah. So, first act, her life is boring. Second act, she discovers she's turning into a dog, and that frees her. And third act, her life turns around because of her savage nature and her connection to her primal life as a dog. And we should all do at the end. That's kind of what I'm getting from the trailer. Now, that may not be totally it, but yeah, I don't like this. Would I see it? No. This is a flat out no for me. Not really under any circumstances would I see this movie. Even if my significant other said, hey, you want to watch this movie? I'd be, no. That movie looks like it sucks. And I'd be shocked to find anybody, any critic I respect who would go, oh yeah, you got to see this movie. It's amazing. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan, somewhere in the house. Thanks for tuning in. Weird. They're making a lot of weird movies. Anyhow, I will be at the United Methodist Communities on Wednesday. Yes, this is at the Pittman Manor for 2 p.m. for How to Hunt the Jersey Devil. And just added, oh, it didn't load. Where's the new one? Oh, there it is. Just added on September 5th, that's Thursday, from 3 to 7, I'll be at the Blackwood Farmers Market. This is on 508 Lakeland Drive in Blackwood, New Jersey. This was just added from 3 to 7. So come on out for that. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.